Bro. So good morning, guys. My name's Trish. So I'm the Events and Marketing Coordinator for Stoke-on-Trent and Staffordshire Growth Hub. We just want to thank you for joining today for the Evolving Enterprise through #DoDigital webinar. So the purpose of this webinar today is to introduce our Do Digital campaign and our Evolving Enterprise campaign that have both been successfully running over the past few months, and we'll discuss the importance of digital transformation to SMEs. So just a quick overview really of the Growth Hub and what we do. So I'll only discuss this slightly to start with because you'll hear from all of our specialist business advisors later on in the webinar, and they'll advise sort of how they can help you through your journey. So the Stoke-on-Trent and Staffordshire Growth Hub is one of 38 that was established by central government with the purpose of helping to unlock private sector growth through access to fully funded support and business growth programmes. And with a team of accredited business advisors and around 120 referral partners and programmes, we can signpost through to, we are ultimately able to assist business growth, job creation, and in turn grow the local economy. So we're also joined today by a guest speaker from Danes Accountants, Mo, who will speak later on around their Evolve arm of the business. And I'll now hand over to one of my colleagues, Alan Bloomfield, who's our specialist digital advisor for the ITBET programme, and he'll go into further detail of what that programme entails and how him and his colleagues will be able to assist you throughout your digital transformation.
Hi, thanks Trish. My name is Alan Bloomfield. Yeah, as Trish says, I'm Specialist Digital Advisor. I'm accompanied not today because obviously she's on other meetings, but Beth has just joined us as well. Excuse me. So we have a broad spectrum of advice that we can offer. My background is ex-BT, so I'm sort of ex-IP infrastructure, cloud computing, CRM, etc. And Beth's background is more social media and website development. If we can have the next slide, Trish, please. And this is some of the areas that we can help support you with. So as Trish says, we've been running a Do Digital series of webinars and discussions around for the Growth Hub. We look at once referred to us, we look at an initial diagnostic, initial discussion around the eligibility for the scheme. We fact find around your business and the future plans and looking at ways of implementing a digital strategy. We put a report together where we include observations and recommendations, and also then signpost to relevant parties. We've given people access to a Do Digital webinar series, which are recorded webinars throughout the series of digital support that we've offering throughout the year. And there's a digital toolkit there which will incorporate things like Google Garage, certain aspects of digital training, etc. And then the further support that's available is currently offered. The Chamber are offering support through the ITBET scheme. The ITBET scheme is the Business Enhancement Programme. That's fully funded support for up to 12 hours of digital support, being able to really study your business, look at, as I say, putting a digital strategy at the heart of your business, looking at areas that we'd recommend, whether it's a CRM system or some sort of planning tool, or whether it's just literally doing accounting digitally. We also look at areas of broadband availability. As a lot of people will be aware, Lila Connect have been running a gigabit footprint around the city of Stoke, but there is other support for the more rural areas, and that's covered off by the gigabit scheme. We run well, at the recent budget, it was announced that we offer support through Help to Grow Digital. There is Help to Grow Management as well, and there's some information that we can give you around both of those schemes. That's supported by a full training package where we can use certain partners to offer support, such as for Office 365 or any sort of CRM system that we implement. We have got an upcoming tech fair that it's just in its infancy at the moment in terms of organising it. The first one for the new year will be an online event where we'll get some of our partners that have helped us do the Do Digital series. They will do some guest speaking, as you'll see today on this forum as well. And then later on in the year, into the new financial year, and hopefully COVID permitting, we'll be running a face-to-face tech fair where we'll have guest speakers. We should be able to have breakout rooms and networking events, and also a lot of the people that will be there are people that are members of the digital forum. So if the digital is your background business, etc., we invite people to the digital forum, which helps. Then we have a discussion around policy, etc., where we can feed back into local government any issues or areas that we might want to discuss and raise at a higher level. If you'd like any further information, I know Trish will send out details, but our email address is digital@staffordshirechambers.co.uk. Thank you. Thanks, Trish.
Thank you, Alan. So there's just a small video now from, his name's Alan Rogers. He's the chair of the LEP. He's very into digital transformation. He's just going to go into the importance of this.
So there's not a job or an industry where digital and digital skills are not required. In fact, it's surprising to know that a fifth of businesses are worried about digital and 1 in 10 aren't actually doing anything about it. I'm really passionate that our businesses don't get left behind. The LEP and the Growth Hub are here to support you, and we really want to support you through our Do Digital campaign and all the training and all the advice and support we're offering to make sure that you're able to thrive and not just survive.
And now we'll hear further from our Growth Hub manager, Becky, who'll go further into the importance to an SME and why we launched the Do Digital campaign and why we feel this is so important.
Yeah. Thanks, Trish. Yeah, so more than ever, businesses are automating processes and developing new digital skills so that they become more future-proof by building a culture and creating an actionable roadmap. Digital can no longer be a bolt-on to the side of an organisation, and it's now having a profound impact on internal structures and departments. We recognise as a Growth Hub the value that comes from utilising technology to augment and expand performance rather than replacing it. But to unlock potential, businesses need access to the right knowledge and skills and access to funding for implementation, which Trish will run through towards the end of the presentation. Evolve an Enterprise through Do Digital is a campaign designed to help your organisation build the skills your employees need and bring together a comprehensive package of fully funded support that will assist in the growth of your digital transformation journey. As a public-private sector organisation, we're established to drive strategic business growth where we harness the expertise of all sectors and drive growth and economic success through supporting businesses with access to finance, HR for employee wellbeing, policy and guidance, marketing through strategy for your business, export and innovation, and signposting for digital skills for the future of workforces. Crucially, over the past 18 months, we've adapted to support businesses through the significant challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic, which has inevitably become a historic pivot point for digital transformation. Before the pandemic, businesses were primarily doing digital, leveraging digital technologies to enhance their capabilities, but still largely relying on legacy operating models. The IT BEP scheme can largely support you in the transformation journey, and here's how we, as a team of advisors and specialists, can support you in evolving enterprise.
Introducing Evolving Enterprise from Stoke-on-Trent and Staffordshire Growth Hub, a unique package of fully funded services to help enterprising businesses across Stoke-on-Trent and Staffordshire to fuel their growth ambitions. The first step is to call the business helpline to speak with a qualified advisor. Our helpline offers a comprehensive triage service to unlock fully funded support. For the next step, our accredited business advisors will complete a one-to-one diagnostic tailored to each individual business, which will then identify the specialist support needed. Following your diagnostic, our specialists will support you in the relevant areas to evolve your business. The areas our specialists cover are recovery and growth, HR, marketing, international trade, and finance. Take the first steps in evolving your enterprise by contacting our business helpline. Our business advisors and specialists are ready to help you. Call us on 0300 111 8002.
So we'll now meet our business advisors. So we have a number of different specialist advisors, as mentioned within that video and at the start. So first will be our new HR advisor, Sonia.
Thank you, Trish. So I am the new Specialist Growth Hub HR advisor. Just a little bit about my background. I've worked in HR for over 5 years now, and my extensive experience ranges from HR assistant to head of HR. I have a variation of experience, including hospitality, warehousing, offices, coaching and mentoring. I saw my last business in hospitality through the pandemic, which came with its challenges, as you can appreciate. So I do have a variation of experience and can turn my head to various different things. Just a little bit about my role here. So I start off by supporting local businesses within Stoke-on-Trent and Staffordshire, offering a HR diagnostic, which allows me to really understand your business needs and establish a plan that enables you to get the best from our services and support. If you haven't got any dedicated HR support or internal HR team, I can support you with that as well. I appreciate that you'll probably come with your own sort of issues and problems that you might need me to help you with, but I can also understand where else I could help you too. The time is fully funded and there's no cost to your business either. So just a little bit about the areas that I could support you in. So employment law advice, best practice of onboarding staff, recruitment and selection, training and development, delivering bespoke HR workshops and webinars, advice on mental health and wellbeing in the workplace, and ensuring milestones are met by companies. But after filling out the diagnostic and having a good chat with the company, we can also look at other areas that I'd be able to support. Thank you, Trish.
And now we'll hear from our high growth advisor. There's just a little video here. Unfortunately, he was unable to join us today.
Hi, my name's Richard Brace. I'm the Business Growth Advisor here at the Growth Hub. My job is to help companies that are looking to grow. I can do this by offering general advice, by giving fully funded one-to-one diagnostic meetings, or by conducting a Growth Mapper survey, which is an online digital survey that measures you and your senior management team's perceptions of where you see yourselves in relation to key business issues in relation to your growth strategy. The report is then presented and we discuss all of the key business issues that have been identified and how this can be used to develop your strategy going forward. So if you're interested in this, please give me a call and my details are on the Growth Hub website.
And now I'll hand over to our specialist marketing advisor, Fiona.
Good morning, everybody. Thanks, Trish. So I'm the Specialist Marketing Advisor for the Growth Hub. I've been on the Growth Hub for around 2.5 years now. We recently put the marketing function and we recognise that SMEs are desperate for marketing support. So it's a very busy section and I love to work with the businesses in a variety of areas. As with all my colleagues, my session is fully funded. And the business has no preparation to do beforehand because it tends to unfold very organically on the call. My background is very similar to Sonia. I've got a real variety. I've been working in marketing for about 17 years now. So generally speaking, I've seen marketing evolving through traditional, then into blended, and now where it sits into currently very heavily digital focused. So I understand that marketing can be a bit of a minefield, and I'm here to guide you through that, whichever area that you're struggling with or feel you need support. A lot of the work that I do tends to cover marketing strategy, and we find that a lot of the time if a business is confused about an element of the marketing, such as social media, that's usually because the strategy is not there underpinning it. So many businesses don't understand why they're doing the social media, but they understand they need to be on there. And once we can unlock that strategy, it tends to be a lot easier for the businesses to run. We'll have a quick look at your current marketing analysis, which is to assess your digital footprint. And we'll talk about the audience, the services and products that you offer as well. And I relate the customer journey back to our own journeys on digital marketing. And I think as consumers, we're all very well versed in digital marketing. And all of these elements that we look at, so the purple line is the customer journey or the potential customer's journey, and the blue line is any marketing that the business does, whether that's social media, whether that's encouraging reviews, blogs, PR, or the website. And what happens here is a crossover on this journey, whereby I link it back to our personal lives. So say, for example, we saw something that was interesting to us on social media. What would we do first? The first thing we'd normally do if we're interested is to Google it. And we do that really subliminally to build trust. What we're looking for is, can this business do what they say they're going to do? Is this business going to help me? Does it serve what I'm looking for? And can I trust them? Is my money or my time going to be safe? And because we're so well versed in that as a consumer journey, that's a lot of what the digital journey happens for businesses as well. So once we understand that, we can realise then where all the individual elements of your digital marketing footprint fit in. So for example, you might just have a website designed and then leave it there for 3 years and do nothing with it. But really, if you start to understand the journey as a whole footprint that forms together, you can make sure that it's aligned with everything you're looking to offer at the moment. Again, with the social media, people will go on there and then they'll perhaps link back to the website. So it's really handy to think about this customer journey when looking at the whole digital footprint. And these are the kind of things that we look at on the call. And hopefully then by the end of that diagnostic, a business has a really well-rounded understanding of how it all fits together. They feel a little bit more confident and comfortable with digital marketing, and they can go away and implement an action plan. And I touched upon strategy being really important, and I think digital marketing strategy or marketing strategy as a whole can again be a minefield. People feel that maybe they're out of the depth with that. So what I like to do is strip that back to 8 key areas, and we'll discuss these on the call. So anything externally that's happening, we know we've got some enormous external factors at the moment with the pandemic and Brexit. There are also going to be individual challenges in each sector as well that are relevant to your business. And then we'll look internally. So potentially for marketing, looking at maybe what resource do you have available? What skill set does that resource have? Products and services we'll discuss to make sure that you've got those aligned with what you're promoting. And then of course the golden budget, which on occasion can be minimal, and that's not a prohibitive to the consultation that we have together, because there are ways, as you know, as business owners, that you can maximise marketing with no or low budget. We'll then look at objectives. So what are you doing this marketing for? What is the point of it? What are you trying to achieve? Once you unlock those, you've got something to measure against. So rather than think your social media is not working, you've got a goal that you can link it back to. We'll discuss the audience. So who buys your products and services? Who are you aiming at? Because that will then help us develop the messaging and select the channels that are most appropriate. And once we work through all of this, and it's very efficient, it takes less than an hour usually, you tend to leave the call with an action plan that you can go away and implement. And then as it says there, and these are the golden rules for marketing, test, measure, tweak. So once you've got your campaign, you can set it up, check back on your analytics and adjust the campaign accordingly until you get the results that you want. And you're able to contact myself either through my personal email address that was just displayed, which is fiona.miller@staffordshirechambers.co.uk, or you can contact me through the business helpline. Thank you.
So I'll hand over to the speaker, Mo.
Hi everyone, I'm Mo Esat. I'm a director at Danes Accountants, and I'm going to be talking through the concepts of cloud accounting, forecasting, metrics and dashboards. Just to give some context around what Danes Evolve is all about. Danes Evolve is supporting business owners with more real-time information, more intelligence to support their decision-making processes. It's no longer appropriate for business owners to rely on historic information. Business owners need more accurate, real-time and robust information to make decisions and to support their decision-making processes. And that can be in the form of regular reporting, forecasting their cash needs, and understanding at a snapshot where the performance of the businesses and their overall health so that those decisions can be pivoted and can be impacted by real-time decisions. Next slide, please, Trish. Just to give you some context of how technology is permeating society, there's a couple of examples on the screen around recognizable businesses that we've all heard of, know of, that have revolutionized their particular markets and their sectors. If we take the example of Netflix, Netflix has been around 10, 15 years, but it revolutionized how we consume digital video content and how we enjoy videos in our social and leisure time. Netflix put Blockbuster out of business. Blockbuster was a traditional DVD retailer. Netflix moved that consumption of content onto a digital platform, which is streamed remotely through the internet, through your phones, through your tablets, and that has had a profound impact, certainly in the lockdown, in my case, as to how we entertain ourselves in our spare time. Airbnb, which is probably the largest provider of platform for holiday residential bookings, accommodation, but it's also the largest provider that doesn't own any real estate of its own. Facebook has revolutionized how we interact with our friends, colleagues, and family. And certainly through lockdown, it's been invaluable for lots of people who have been interacting with each other through Facebook. Google, synonymous with let's just Google something, as Fiona mentioned earlier. And we do, if we're unsure of something, we need to research something, we Google it, we find the information through that source. But Google is more than just a search engine. It's one of the largest technology-based companies revolutionizing how we interact through mobile communications or consume digital content. Apple was traditionally a personal computer business, but it moved into consumption of music through the iPod, through iTunes, but it's now revolutionizing how we interact through smartphones. It's the largest smartphone provider in the world. Amazon has changed how we shop, but Amazon is also the largest holder of data in the world through its Amazon AWS platform. But again, all of those examples demonstrate how technology is permeating society and how we interact with each other, how we consume data, and that's only going to increase multiple fold. Just to give an example of the move towards cloud technology, I call cloud technology the unstoppable force. Over 90% of the data in the world today has been created in simply just the last 2 years. Big data is transforming how we interact with information. There are volumes of data captured throughout every single hour. And it's interpreting that data, consuming that data, how we understand that data and that information that is starting to revolutionize how we make decisions, how we run our businesses, and that's only going to increase. There's also the increasing role of automation and artificial intelligence. Traditionally, manual processes are now replaced by automation and artificial intelligence. I give the example of I can actually look on my smartphone and see what my bank transactions have been in the last few days. So if I've gone for a coffee, it will tell me that I've spent £3.45 on a coffee. I can adjust my heating in my home from my phone. And those are just personal impacts of cloud technology and artificial intelligence. COVID and the pandemic has also had a significant impact on cloud technology. The move towards remote working, being able to access information that was historically been on servers in an office, have had to move onto digital platforms, underscoring the impact of cloud technology. But that has also led to a shift in data-driven decision-making. The data that is available and prevalent there means that we can make better decisions based on that information. Just to give some key stats on cloud technology, in 2021, this year, 78% of small businesses will rely solely on cloud technology alone, cloud accounting technology alone. And that has in part been impacted by COVID, by the pandemic. More and more small businesses are moving towards cloud accounting technology. I've seen that as a prime example in businesses we work with over the last 12, 18 months. More and more businesses are wanting to move to cloud technology because they've witnessed and evidenced the profound impact that cloud accounting technology has had on their businesses, and that can only start to increase. The global cloud accounting market is expected to reach £3 billion by the end of 2023, and that's from a starting position of 1.85 billion in 2018, which is a significant increase. However, it's easier to generate, process, and analyze that data for better business decisions. Just to give you some examples here of the impact of businesses using cloud technology, the Chartered Institute of Management Accountants did some research and compiled a report last year of the benefits of moving to cloud technology, whether it was improved scalability, which came in at 32%, cost savings of 36%, time savings of 50%. And the most impactful were more efficient processes of 55%. Now, the impact of cloud technology does lead to efficiency. Those traditional processes, those manual processes were previously done, has meant that the introduction of cloud technology makes processes not only more efficient, but it frees up more time for those members of the finance function or the wider business can then spend their time doing more productive things rather than keying in information. Those manual processes can now be automated, and that's going to have a significant impact going forward. So what are the key benefits of cloud accounting? Not only will it lead to real-time, robust and reliable information, it will also create some efficiency and automation in those traditional manual processes. There's a degree of innovation and integration as part of that, because cloud accounting technology is constantly evolving, it's constantly seeking to improve. And those businesses that have embraced cloud accounting technology can also take advantage of those improvements in innovation and the integration of external cloud-based platforms with internal accounting systems. So as these platforms start to develop, introduce new features, businesses can start to take advantage of those and really harness the benefits of moving to cloud technology. Key benefit is business owners understand their financials better. And what I mean by that is what the pandemic demonstrated was that business owners, businesses that had a better understanding of their financials in real-time information, real-time, robust and reliable information, were better able to pivot their businesses based on the position they understood from their data. And that was critical. Those impactful decisions could be taken quicker and earlier rather than wait for the outcome of information to be provided at a later point in time. So the impact of real-time, robust and reliable information is fundamental to making those decisions at the right moment in time. What it also leads to is best practice. Best practice is harnessing the best of everything effectively, and that can only be done so by taking advantage of the most up-to-date systems and platforms that are available. How do businesses go about doing that? Well, it's embracing cloud accounting technology. It's also taking advantage of artificial intelligence and the data insights that provides, getting a better understanding of key parameters, metrics, KPIs that are important to that business, and being able to make the decisions based on that information. Cloud accounting technology also relies on predictive analytics. So we'll cover forecasting shortly, but forecasting can be based on predictive analytics based on past trends. So platforms that allow that to happen will look at previous trends and start to predict what might happen in the future. And that's fundamental and specific to unique businesses and their particular sector. But what we started to implement is also a move towards insightful reporting. So it's not simply a case of here's a P&L and a balance sheet that businesses have always seen. What do those key metrics show us? What does it tell us? What's the insights from that information, from that data that can help support business owners with their decision-making processes? I've got a couple of, I've got quite a few icons on this, but it demonstrates the apps marketplace. So the apps marketplace is effectively different applications that integrate with your core accounting software. So in the center of the slide, we've got Xero, Sage, QuickBooks, Accounts IQ, Twinfield. All of those platforms have app integrations. At the moment, there are over 1,000 app integrations that work with Xero alone, and those can be covering different aspects. So you've got applications such as Futurely, which allows better reporting. You've got Fathom, which does a similar process. You've got Chaser, which automates that debt collection process. And all of these app integrations make that automation of traditionally manual processes seamless, but it also integrates with the core accounting system to extract that information in a more meaningful fashion that allows those processes to be automated and enhanced. Moving on to the cloud ecosystem. So at Danes, and as part of our proposition, we've identified a cloud ecosystem, and it's bespoke for businesses that we work with. We will review systems and processes and understand what ecosystem applications that are relevant to that business that we then introduce to automate some of those processes, make the process more efficient, but also enhance the information that is able to be extracted from that core accounting system. So typically we've got the example on the left here where for a client that we looked at certain app integrations that were relevant to their business. We've introduced those to enhance that ecosystem of applications that automate processes, provide better information and better outputs to help drive that decision-making process. Moving on to forecasting. Forecasting is so important for businesses. It's not simply a case of how much profit have we made. It's typically businesses that struggle or fail, unfortunately, do so because of a lack of cash or a lack of prediction of that cash. Forecasting allows businesses to understand key pinch points in their foreseeable future. So typically a forecast is based on a 3-year projection. But what it does, it allows past and present data to be used to predict those future trends, to identify those pinch points where there may be a need for short-term funding or certainly managing the working capital better in those constraint areas. And that allows businesses to better drive those decisions through those difficult periods, because let's face it, most businesses have those pinch points. Larger businesses have always had the ability to forecast, and that's always been based on the ability to have some sophistication in their internal processes, but they've been able to do so to arrive at data-driven decisions. The permeation of better platforms, better solutions with the introduction of cloud accounting extends that ability to forecast to smaller businesses, smaller SMEs that can move in that direction. COVID has demonstrated that those resilient businesses that survived, well, not just survived, thrived through the pandemic, were able to pivot quickly and move in a direction that helped them survive. Cash is king, as I've said before. It's about effectively managing the working capital cycle. And forecasting has moved away from complex Excel spreadsheets and has been replaced by automated AI-based systems that allow simple changes to be processed through and the impact of changes to be identified quickly and updated on a regular basis. A forecast is typically comprised of a P&L, balance sheet and a cash flow up to 3 years in the future. What it helps to identify is those funding needs at those particular moments when there is a cash constraint. But seeing that well in advance allows you to put those measures in place, and then the impact of funding constraints can be accommodated quickly and easily. Business planning and budgeting is so important for businesses to predict what the future lies, to be able to make changes as the business progresses and changes. It's also based on trend-based predictive analytics. So forecasting allows better cash management. Better cash management in the sense that if there are periods where there is significant cash in the business, those can be forecast and that cash can be better used to invest in plant and machinery or equipment, but also put those funds to better use to generate returns for the business. There is no point having cash sitting in the bank account not generating any returns for a business. That can be better managed, but it's having the foresight to be able to do that effectively and efficiently. It allows scenario planning. So if businesses are looking to grow a particular sector of their business or a particular team, that can be predicted and planned through those scenarios through a forecasting model. And the impact of those decisions to come can start to be planned out and mapped in a effective manner. Forecasting is increasingly required by lenders and investors. I've spoken to a number of lenders in the past 6 months, and if there is a borrowing decision to be made, banks and lenders and investors will require forecasting. It's not simply a case of let's have a business plan or a budget or a sales plan. Forecasting is becoming a requirement of lenders to make that decision. And it's important for business owners to recognise that that is increasingly being required as a standard, and therefore that's where professionals can start to help map out forecasting, because forecasting is an art, and that's something that having the foresight that is required for a lender allows business owners to put that in place. Moving on to dashboard reporting. The number of businesses that I have spoken to recently, where there aren't management accounts in place, there isn't management information, is a scary thought, because how can business owners understand their performance, understand their overall health of their business without accurate, regular information is a factor that's starting to become more and more important for businesses. We support a number of businesses with management information, and that's not simply in the format of a P&L, a balance sheet. It's increasingly understanding what are the key metrics for businesses to understand, providing that dashboard, that key highlight of key parameters that they can then understand and start to track as part of their regular processes. Regular assessment of those key drivers and understanding of those key drivers is important for business owners to start to shape their decision making. What dashboards and KPI reporting allow business owners to do is it allows them to track performance of their business, not only over the last couple of years, but also start to look ahead. And that starts to shape how businesses pivot their decision making. Because if a particular KPI is off track, what action needs to be taken, what actionable insights can be generated to enable those decisions to be made and pivot those decisions effectively and efficiently. What it also allows is business owners to assess the actual performance to budgeted performance and understand the key drivers that have led to that change. It's using the intelligence and the data there to understand how the business has performed, but also how it can change, how it can adapt and start to shape the future performance of the business. I've got some key KPIs that need to be flexed or are flexed depending on the stage of the business. So typically for a startup business, there are some metrics, but those will start to evolve as the business grows through the stages of growth, maturity, or decline. So businesses cannot simply rely on one set of metrics throughout their life cycle. Those need to be adapted, those need to be changed, those need to be reflected upon as the business progresses through its life cycle. I've set out here some 5 essential KPIs for businesses, and these are quite commonplace, but these are just a small snapshot of those that are used typically by most businesses. So gross profit is usually as a percentage. It allows companies to see the profit they are generating after deducting cost of sales. Debtor days is also very important. How long does it take for businesses to collect their debts in? It's great having a large number of sales or a particular strong month around sales, but if you're not collecting the cash in, or it's taking a length of time to collect that cash in, that's the level of sales is irrelevant. Then it's how quickly can you convert those sales into cash that are then returning into the business that you can then use to either invest in machinery or pay off your suppliers. Stock turnover is equally important. How long does it take for businesses to generate cash from the stock that it holds? Typically, if a business holds on to stock too long, there is a risk of obsolescence or stock depletion. How quickly can that stock be generated into sales? Because typically for most manufacturing businesses, stock is a significant number. But if it's sat in a warehouse not generating any revenue, that's tied up cash. That's tied up cash not doing anything. Net cash flow is the difference between all inflows and outflows over a period of time. And it's important to manage that effectively to ensure there is a significant amount of cash flow within the business. Payroll as a cost is typically the largest cost for most businesses, but it's important to track what proportion of payroll represents the cost for a business. Businesses just need to make sure that that amount is not increasing over time. We use Kpi tracking for a number of our clients, and that allows businesses to see at a snapshot where their most important KPIs are heading. Some might be off track, some may be on track. So for those that are off track, what measures need to be taken to ensure they return to an on-track position? KPIs are specific to businesses and sectors, and we can support business owners to set those KPIs. And that provides at a snapshot a very quick overview of those key performance indicators. Over time, KPIs can be tracked, they can be assessed, and those drivers behind those KPIs can be explored, manipulated, and you start to leverage the decisions and the impact of decisions on those KPIs. But it's not just about financial KPIs. There are a whole host of non-financial KPIs that businesses have placed some reliance on. So typically for most businesses that are in the service sector, where they have a reliance on net promoter scores to identify levels of customer satisfaction, that's a non-financial KPI, but that also needs to be tracked. And that can be tracked as part of the KPI tracking process. Any questions from anyone? By all means, pop your questions in the chat or the Q&A. I'd be more than happy to answer. And I can pick those up later anyway, that's fine. So final slide is just my contact details if anyone has any questions.
I don't think we've got any at the moment, Mo.
That's fine. That's
But
fine.
obviously, if you're happy for people to contact you directly as well, and obviously anything we receive following this, we'll obviously let you know. Thank you again. That was brilliant. Always interesting to hear what's going on with you guys, and it's lovely to find out a bit more about that and sort of the digital side of it and how that can help. So just a final sort of section from ourselves, really, from the Growth Hub. So unfortunately, our funding and finance advisor couldn't be here today due to ill health, but the next couple of slides will just show you some of the programs that we do have available, the funding programs as such. So we've got different sort of grant funding and finance and loans and things like that. If you do want to find out anything more about the funding that we do have available, following these slides, we have put the details in the chat for the Growth Hub, and obviously you can go through to the website and book an expert business review through there. You can contact any of the specialist advisors and they'll be able to either discuss this directly with you or refer you to a general business advisor, but I'll just pop them up on the screen now so you can have a little read through. So we have a number of different programs that are available. Obviously, they are all due to eligibility, but it is also worth keeping in touch with either ourselves, signing up to our newsletter, and keeping quite close to the local authorities at the moment with the COVID surplus money that they have available. There is a number of different programs coming out regularly. So they are released also through our Growth Hub newsletter. Any new funding or finance streams that are available are promoted via there as well. But again, if you want to find out anything more, get in touch with ourselves or give the business helpline a call. And thank you for all attending today. Hope that this has been helpful, and get in touch with ourselves via the details in the chat or our website.